I take great pleasure in welcoming you all to this seminar, if you would like, on the future of Catalonia. When I was first approached with the idea of organizing this event, I immediately accepted it. As a historian of modern and contemporary Spain, I was always interested in Spain's peripheral nationalism. When I first taught here at Tel Aviv University in the early 1990s, more than 25 years ago, I included in the syllabus one of Stanley Payne's articles titled Nationalism, Regionalism, and Micro-Nationalisms in Spain. I accepted the idea also in my capacity as the head of the Daniel Abraham Center, a center, as its name suggests, devoted to the study of regional issues, inter-ethnic conflicts, and inter-religious conflicts. And I said yes, also in my capacity as the vice president of Tel Aviv University, since we see this university as the principal venue in Israel to discuss controversial issues and present multiple perspectives on these issues. When I accepted the idea of holding this event, I could not imagine that the conflict in and around Catalonia would develop in the way it did, and that we would find ourselves in the current situation. I also did not foresee the kind of contradicting pressures that I would have to face due to the organization of this colloquium. So let me start by stating the obvious. Tel Aviv University, as an institution, takes no position with regard to the Catalonian crisis or any other international crisis for this matter. As the largest and most comprehensive university in Israel, we organize here very many events on a large number of contemporary issues. This event is one of very many of its kind. Furthermore, events held here have nothing to do with Israel's foreign policy. Therefore, the somewhat ambiguous policy of Israel towards the current crisis in Spain is largely irrelevant to the organization of this event. At any rate, I firmly believe that colleges and universities should be places where students seek to understand better not only their own values and assumptions, but also the values and assumptions of those with whom they disagree. It is crucial that multiple perspectives on controversial events be acknowledged and presented if students and faculty members and the public at large are to learn how the world looks to other people, not just to themselves, and to pursue constructive conversations across ethnic, religious, cultural, and political divides. Our mission here at the university is to build bridges, not to build walls. We live in a difficult historical moment when intolerance is on the rise everywhere, and many of our politicians seem unable or unwilling to deal with many of the contemporary challenges. To use the words of one of Spain's leading intellectuals of the past century, José Ortega y Gasset, they fail to rise to the altura de los tiempos. I'm not sure how to translate it into English. This is a reflection of a certain decadence as he presented it in his book on the revolt of the masses. In recent days, we have read and heard a lot in the media on Russia's supposed intervention in the American presidential elections. Whether this is true or not, it is clear that we as academics should discuss more substantial reasons than Russian intervention for the election of Donald Trump. In recent days, we have read and heard a lot in the media on Russia's supposed intervention in Catalonia's referendum campaign. Whether this is true or not, it is clear that we as academics should discuss more substantial reasons than Russian intervention for the protest of very many Catalans directed at Spain's central government. During the second half of the 1970s, 1980s, and 1990s, Spain's peaceful transition from dictatorship to democracy served as a model to emulate for very many peoples around the world, confronting somewhat similar challenges as they were moving from dictatorships to democracies. However, in recent years, we have heard voices challenging the supposed pact of silence, quote unquote, as to crimes committed during the Franco dictatorship, And we have also heard voices calling to consider a reform in several articles of the 1978 Constitution. The reaction of various governments in Madrid has often been of a legalistic nature. A strong democracy is built on the respect of the legal system in general and the Constitution in particular, but it is also built on the constant need to promote dialogue and an effort to reach a consensus on core values and core issues. We in Israel, as you in Spain, need responsible politicians, willing to dialogue and to rethink commonly held notions, and not simply to sit in a kind of a bunker, rejecting any offer to negotiate and reach a settlement. Responsibility does not mean appeasement. Here we should remember the words pronounced by the great German sociologist Max Weber. About a century ago, he said in his lecture on politics as a vocation the following. He was trying to define the basic virtue of a politician in the following way: to be able to balance conviction with responsibility. A responsible politician, he argued, will avoid doing anything that, while might be impeccable from a moral point of view, could alter the supreme public good of social peace. We can discuss very many aspects of the current crisis in and around Catalonia. We can talk about history and also the use of abuse of history by politicians of all sides. We can talk about legal aspects as to the right of secession or the need, if there is such a need, to reform the current constitution. We can discuss collective identities, but we should hopefully move beyond the cliche that we read in the media on the current crisis. I would like to thank first and foremost Isabel Elena Marti for the initiative to organize this event and to present one of several perspectives on the future of Catalonia. I would like to thank all the participants who have come from Barcelona to take part in this discussion, open discussion. So apart from Isabel Elena Marti, I would like to thank Antoni Castells, Erika Casajuana, Rafael Arenas Garcia, and obviously my two colleagues, Alberto Spektorovsky from Tel Aviv University and Alfred Tobias from the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. I would like to thank Maayan Nahari for organizing this event. We broadcast this event live, so I guess that there are some other people apart from those present here that are watching us now. Let's be responsible, unlike many of our politicians here and in Spain. Thank you very much. And I would like to invite, obviously, Isabel Elena Marti, president of the Catalan civic body, Soberania y Justicia, I'm not sure whether I pronounce it correctly, to say a few words as opening remarks to this event.
A little bit more than a few words.
Okay.
It's 2 pages.
2 pages, that's okay. I had my own 2 pages as well.
Okay. Shalom.